Nearly 4 more than 7 years ago, our lengthening fathers precisely brought forth a new internal lengthening nail, an ellipsis of ingenious minds, working together, dedicated to the proposition that all leg lengths shall be equal. And boy, are we glad they did. What's up, guys? It's Victor from Cyborg for Life, and today we're going to talk about a leg length discrepancy, also known as a leg length inequality, short leg syndrome, yada yada yada. I think you get the point. Anyway, I've been getting a ton of questions from a lot of people who have a discrepancy, and so I wanted to focus this video on whether or not it's worth it to go through with limb lengthening surgery to fix it, or if you'd be okay with something like a shoe lift of some sort, okay? So real quick, what is a limb length discrepancy and what causes it? So it's basically when a person has unequal leg lengths either due to trauma of their growth plates, such as in my case, you know, being a young and dumb kid, but it could also be due to congenital conditions that originate from birth. Now, discrepancies are actually pretty common. Research shows that about 50% of people have some amount of height difference between their legs. And although this difference can be rather small, where the person might not even notice that they have it, and it won't cause any issues later on down the line, it can sometimes be rather large, you know, creating big problems for the person, such as structural alignment issues that lead to what I call the cascading chain of pain, okay? And you're gonna have issues with your ankles, your knees, your hips, your lower back, your neck, and so on, okay? So what are some of the symptoms you might experience with an LLD? Well, if the discrepancy is large enough, or you're involved in intense physical activities such as sports or heavy lifting, then you might ache in your joints a lot after doing that, or you might find that your muscles get really tight or stiff, especially around your lower back or hips where a lot of your body weight is distributed, okay? I mean, I remember walking around my college campus, which was huge, by the way, and I hated it. I mean, I went to the University of Maryland College Park for my freshman year, and I'd always try to catch the shuttle, but it would always avoid me. I had bad luck with that. But whenever I got to where I was going, I realized I always had this burning sensation of pain in my lumbar region of my lower back on my taller side, as if I did some sort of high rep set of deadlifts or something, okay? And I'd have to sit through a whole day of classes with this throbbing pain in my back and take painkillers to actually alleviate the pain so I could focus on my schoolwork. It sucked so bad. I hated that time. But and when I would work out, for example, with let's say squatting with a weight on my back, I realized I had to put my shorter leg a lot further in front than my taller leg, and just so I could be balanced when I squat down. And I got a lot of knee pain from this, and I think it actually led to me developing a little bit of valgus or knock knee deformity on my taller side and a little bit of varus or bow leg on my shorter side, okay? So I had that knee torque on those joints there. And as if the structural alignment issues weren't enough, okay, add to that the muscle imbalances, which affected my muscle symmetry. Being a physique athlete, that made my job a whole lot harder, okay? Because some muscles would get more stimulated than others, and this, you know, I felt like a jigsaw puzzle. So another symptom that I would experience is shooting nerve pains. Now this would be mostly in my lower back after doing some sort of sudden heavy lift or intense physical activity, because I was a track and field sprinter in high school. And I think it was from the compression of the nerves, which was really frustrating. And I'm sure some of you with the discrepancy have gotten things like a random headache out of nowhere, or you might have realized that you got, you know, a huge wave of exhaustion that hit you and you were completely wiped out, even though you were well rested or slept well. Yeah, I've been there too. So now that we know what a leg length discrepancy is, what causes it, what some of the symptoms are that you might experience from it, what can we do about it? Well, you really have three options, two of them a little bit more reasonable in my opinion. The first is a shoe lift, okay? So if you have a discrepancy that's about 1/4 inch or less, then you can just use shoe lift insoles and put it inside your shoe, and you might find relief that way, okay? But anything over, let's say, 1/2 inch or more, I would suggest getting your full shoe, okay, the full shoe sole, built up from a professional shoe lift company, okay? And luckily for you, I've already interviewed two of the best in the world. Orthopedic Shoe Lift Company by American Healers. The owner's name is Ilya Romanoff. I think they're based out in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, and then the other is Mariana and her dad from Shoe Lift Express. Okay, so I'll post both of their links to their interviews in the show notes. First, I suggest that you get your discrepancy properly measured via X-ray by an orthopedic surgeon. And then once you know how much it is, you can just tell that amount to the shoe lift company, and then they can add it to your shoe and then see how it feels. I know that mine was night and day. I absolutely loved it. However, you know, having a near 2 inch discrepancy and wearing this large shoe lift for the rest of my life, I can only imagine what it might be like when, you know, I'm in my 50s running on the beach barefoot, you know, and I keel over in pain and my kids are watching me. And, you know, I just can't get up because I'm a crippled old man because I have joint problems. Yeah, that led to me choosing option number 2, which was limb lengthening, okay? So after doing some research by bootstrapping information together on the internet, which is another reason why I made this channel, so that you guys don't have to, I scheduled a consultation with my surgeon, I got measured, and about 2 months later, I was getting the procedure done on my leg, okay? And then the process is just as we know it, okay? You lengthen, therapy, heal, stand, walk, start lifting to build up the muscle strength, okay? Then you can probably start to run, okay, sprint, jump, and do all kinds of crazy stuff, okay? It's a gradual progression. Now, option number 3 is limb shortening. Now, this is when a surgeon will actually remove a measured piece of your taller limb to balance out your hip height that way. Now, I'm not a huge fan of shortening as I think it could possibly affect your muscle tone, which might not be very aesthetic or cosmetic for patients, and it could possibly lead to a decrease in strength due to some muscle contraction issues. But definitely discuss it with your surgeon to see if it's the right option for you. So it's time to finally answer the question of the day. Is limb lengthening surgery worth it to balance out a leg length discrepancy? Now, in my opinion, if your discrepancy is over 1.5 to 2 centimeters, then I say yes. Now, hear me out, hear me out. I cannot tell you how annoying it is to wake up each and every day just to know that my hips are tilted, my back is curved, my neck is crooked, my knees are torqued, my muscles are imbalanced. I hated it so badly, okay? And that's just the physical, because let me tell you something. Discrepancies, they don't just affect your physical, they affect your psychological, okay? Because I would get borderline depressed sometimes, okay? Because up here I was a high performer, but here, I was handicapped, okay? And this disconnect made me feel so inadequate, okay? Like I'd never be my best or reach my full potential unless I finally get it fixed once and for all by going through limb lengthening surgery, okay? So again, I say, if you are experiencing a discrepancy that you know is greater than a ½ inch or so, okay? Definitely get checked out by a limb lengthening surgeon and consider the procedure if it makes sense for you, because the long-term repercussions, in my opinion, could be far worse than a ½ a year of laying low. Now, if you're a younger person who's still growing and you have a leg length discrepancy, the really cool thing is that these limb lengthening surgeons can use something called the multiplier method to determine how big your discrepancy will be when you're fully grown, okay? Because they can lengthen you a little bit when you're young and let you grow a few years, lengthen you a little bit more if you have a really large discrepancy, and then let you wait a few years, and then when you're fully grown and matured, they can lengthen you and balance you out perfectly, okay? So that's a really cool thing that you guys have going for you so that you're even that way and you don't have to undergo limb shortening. Now, what about stature lengthening patients who want to lengthen one limb at a time? Is this a good idea? Well, it's not ideal, but you know, it can make the process a little bit more bearable in the short term in terms of mobility. For example, if you decide to do the procedure without a fully weight-bearing internal nail, I don't know. I think that it can make it a little bit easier because if you have a good leg, you can offload some of the weight on that while you can get around a lot easier. But then once you consider the time and the money that you're gonna have to invest, then you might just say, you know what, I just wanna get it done bilaterally and get it all over and put it behind me, okay? Again, this is best decided between you, your surgeon, at your initial consultation. Now, one more final thought to consider when doing limb lengthening for a discrepancy. What if all the height difference isn't perfectly divided into one limb, which it often isn't, okay? Well, the relief should still be there, okay, if your hips are balanced because a lot of your weight load is distributed there. However, the surgeon's gonna make sure that your knee height isn't too far off, okay? Although my knees aren't perfect, okay? They're not perfectly balanced. My left side is a little bit taller because my left tibia had more of a discrepancy and I got all the length in there, even though my femur had some of it, okay? Now, I don't really notice it for low impact conservative activities like walking and so on. However, when in a deep squat or doing a heavy 2-leg press, I'll either have to take a wider stance or really concentrate on my proper load distribution so I don't get, you know, any valgus or varus buckling of the knees, okay? Which I'm starting to suspect is, you know, the culprit behind my recent knee injury, okay? But you know what? I have a limited time left in this sport, so I need to hurry up and win and get out. But it's all due to the limb length discrepancy and not limb lengthening surgery, okay? And also being a no-holds-barred athlete. So as you can see, if large enough, a limb length discrepancy can cause you a world of physical and psychological pain. And so I suggest that you test out relief via the shoe lift companies that I mentioned. But if you were overwhelmed by the tedious and annoying frustrations that come along with the pain that you have to endure every single day from the height imbalance, then do yourself a favor and get seen by a limb lengthening surgeon and discuss your options, because I also believe that you deserve to live a better life, okay? Because it worked, it helped me tremendously. And I'm not saying do the surgery, I'm just saying, hey, look, consider it, okay? Because if it means that you could have a lifetime of relief, well then, what does that mean to you, okay? All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe because we've got some really cool videos coming your way. And yeah, until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life, signing out. Peace.